Hey everyone, so today I wanted to talk about this broke mentality, this broke mindset, right? So I want to shout out a couple of YouTubers like The Minority Mindset, which is basically a channel speaking on being in the minority of people who actually want to be financially successful, financially free, do the right things. And, you're not going to be like the majority of Americans who are consumers. And you're going to be a part of those Americans who are more so interested in being financially free. And so you have movements like FIRE, Financially Independent, Retire Early. You have movements like envelope saving or bag stacking, whatever you want to call it these days. But then you also have individuals who believe that they are entitled to other people's money and simply refuse to change their mindset in order to succeed. You see, their problem isn't working hard. Their problem isn't getting money. Their problem isn't buying the things that they so rightfully want and desire, but it's managing that money. It's maneuvering through this world without entitlement and saying, I have to get this done for me. You see, what I've realized is it's not really about making or managing the money itself, but it's about feeling as though someone, anyone, is going to be there to pick you up and drag you out of your situation. That's the entitlement that I've found that is really mind-boggling to me. It's the undying hope, the undying trust, the undying belief that every single time you are in trouble, somebody will be there to help. So you don't need to save for a rainy day. So you don't need to do the right things. So you don't need to fix yourself. You see? And so for some people, that mentality is so mixed, so powerful and potent within their life that they no longer see a reason to save their last dollar. And that will force them to spend their last dime on a car or their last dime on a apartment that they're renting or their last dime on a new dog or a new cat because they want a new dog or cat, or their last dime on a dinner date that they simply couldn't afford and now they're late on rent and they need the extra $25 or $50. You see, they're so used to getting $25 or $50 from somebody else, maybe even $100 from somebody else, that the effect of them spending a little bit more than what they have is of no consequence. They don't even see that as something that they shouldn't do at the moment. Because you know what? I can just ask for that. I don't know who I'm going to get it from, but I'm going to get it. And what I've realized is every single month, here's one person asking, here's another person asking, here's another person asking. And what constantly happens is that the next month they ask again. The next month they ask again. Regardless if you give it to them or not, they continue to ask, right? So even if you are not enabling them, they believe that if they ask you enough times, eventually you will say yes, regardless of the situation. So I had someone ask me for cash for the umpteenth time. I don't know how many times it was, but the cash was gas money. And this is not the first person who've asked me for gas money. But in doing so, they said, listen, I need this to get to work. And if I don't get to work, I'm going to lose my job. So what I got from that was, okay, you just purchased this thing, whether it be a new car, whether it be a new apartment, whether it be a new puppy, right? Let's just say it's one of those three things. You just purchased this thing. There was an upcharge on this thing due to bad credit, right? And you are on thin ice with your job for whatever the reason may be. Maybe it's your attitude. Maybe it's your inability to show up to work on time to begin with. Maybe it's been those same financial crutches holding you back. Whatever the reason, it has constantly continued to be apparent and prevalent within your life, right? You are doing the same things over and over again, and it is now becoming a habit that is formed, that is now coming with consequences for your actions. So I texted this person today, and I said, hey, you are someone who has repeatedly asked me for help financially, and I understand that this is a cycle that is going to continue. What you need to do is get a personal loan from your employer, and they will take that check out of your account every single month. Now, there are many jobs that do that. When I worked at Domino's did that for employees. There were other jobs that do that for employees. Procter & Gamble does that for employees, amongst many others. So it's very common. It's not something that I've ever done personally, but I did see it as a way to take money out of your check without owing a bank, owing a debtor with interest or anything like that. And I felt like that would be an option for this person, but hopefully it doesn't become a habit for this person. So that would help that person to get out of their situation immediately, but then give them a little bit to start that rebounding process. Now, the person said, thank you for the advice, but I've already lost my employment. And it was said in such a way as though it was my fault that their employment was lost. Okay? And so what I do is I like to think to myself, if I was in the same situation, would this person have ever lent an helping hand? Not that I don't do things out of the kindness of my heart, because I do. I give generously when I can. And, it's with the expectation of never receiving that back. However, a lot of the times it's to people I don't know or to people who have been positive influences in my life. Not people who are around, just hovering, but that I don't really speak with on a day-to-day basis. So, with that being said, let's say I had these car problems and I needed $100. Would I just be able to ask that person for that? Now, granted, due to my character, due to who I am as a person, people know that, well, if I were to come to someone with that type of financial disparity, they would come to my aid and they would help me. And there's multiple people that would help me. And I'd be able to probably raise $1,000 off of asking for 100. But because of my character, I'm not somebody who would resort to that. I will work as hard as I possibly can to get whatever I possibly can for myself right then, right there. And I know that I do not use people as a means of achieving things in this life, because eventually you'll use up all of your well. And that will never happen to me because although I am growing for myself, I am a giver who has gave and who has, supported those who have supported me. And in understanding that, I also understand that, people will continue to ask me for things in life. The bigger I get, the older I get, the more financially stable I become. That's been very, very apparent. And again, this is in tuning your circle, fine tuning your circle, being around the right people, because there's groups of people who never ask me for anything, and then there are groups of people who always ask you for things. And it's about being around the right people, because when I'm around my friends who are super stable and doing all the right things, they just ask me to hang out and have a good time. They just want to be around me. But when I'm around people who are in school, right? Same thing. They just want to have a good time. They just want to be around me. And when I'm around those who just want to flex and show off, well, those are the ones who are typically the ones asking me for cash at the end of the day, right around the first of the month, right around the 15th, right? So, yeah, I mean, and then you realize that I don't want to be around the people who need to show off 24/7, need to flex. And why is that? Is because who are you showing off for? Who are you flexing for? Who are you trying to show that you're living the best life ever? So to me, I just see insecurity. I just see a lack of understanding of what the world really is. And at the same time, that ego boost that you've got is crutching you every single day. But you probably feel good when you get into your car. You probably feel good when you step into your apartment. But everywhere else you go, everywhere else you look, every time you look at your bank account, every time you look at your credit score, every time you look at your credit cards, every time you look at your goals, your aspirations, your dreams, how do you feel? How do you feel? This broke mindset is crippling. It has been crippling. It will continue to cripple people. And with inflation, with interest rates now starting to come down a bit, but still very, very high, it will only become more of a crutch to those who do not understand finances, management of money, and take it upon themselves to be self-starters and be initiators in their own success and managing their future. So, what are you going to do going into 2023 to change your life, to change your mindset, to change your future? Because eventually you are going to run out of people who are willing to lend a helping hand, because your hand is always open, ready to receive, and never giving anything at all. Let's make a change. Let's make something happen. If you like this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.